Hey guys, so I've been really in some thoughts about commitment and I'm going to share it with you. And before I even get to that, I am so over the moon with all of the questions and comments and messages that I've been getting about coaching and possibility and what's coming up and what's going on in your life. And I'm just so excited to keep partnering with you with where you are, where you want to be. So absolutely keep using me as a resource too. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to talk about commitment today because it's really been up for me. Like I've really gotten to kind of confront commitment, which really is confronting myself, which is part of why I love commitment. And commitment fundamentally is like the underpinnings of coaching, because coaching is a commitment to myself, it's a commitment to my life, it's a commitment to growth. And through coaching, I make commitments in my life. Might be a commitment to my health, commitment to my spirituality, commitment to my friends, my family. So there's also the doingness of commitment, but there's also a beingness that comes with it fundamentally. So I just want to share in that a couple things that I really notice around commitment as I've been coaching people and definitely through my own experience. One really common mistake I see people make around declaring commitments is that they make, and I've done this too, so I'm saying you, but I mean me too, is that people will make commitments that they're not really committed to. It's more like, I'm committed to want to do this, or I'm committed really saying, hoping I'll do this, which I think is just fundamentally undermining the whole deal, and it doesn't turn out. So for you might look at what commitments have you made that you make over and over and over again. It might be like a New Year's resolution if you make the same one every year, like this is the year I'm gonna lose that 20 pounds, or this is the year I'm gonna go on dates, or clean out my closet, or whatever. So if you notice you're in a pattern of making commitments that you're not keeping, first of all, it means part of it might be you're not really committed to the commitment when you make it. Second of all, sometimes we then use that failure to then be right, that like, see, I just can't do it. And then we then drag that forward to everywhere in our lives, with like bring that evidence forward to other things of like, see, I can't do stuff, see, I'm not enough, look, another time I failed. And then we lose our momentum everywhere. So it's really a clever sabotage if we're not careful. And then three, really what I think is occurring is that we've just made the commitment on top of like, how do I say it? It's kind of like planting seeds on cement. So it's not the seed's fault it didn't grow, we just planted it on cement. So part of where coaching really comes in is I partner with people in seeing like, hey, let's first examine, is this the commitment you want to make? Is this the seed you want to plant? Does it align with you? Is it match your purpose, your soul? Are you really committed to this? Do you want it? Are you willing to reinvent yourself? So it might be that we get to tweak the commitment. Might get to tweak you, but aligning it so it's a firm commitment, like clear, almost an ease comes when everything is really aligned. And then the other piece of it is cultivating the soil. So like, hey, let's not plant that seed on the cement. Let's plant it somewhere else. Let's cultivate your soil. So commitment fundamentally will flesh up like our limiting beliefs, our back doors, meaning where we have an escape route, like, oop, I never planned to keep that commitment anyway. All of our loopholes. So here's the thing. If we make a commitment that we are committed to, like we're aligned with it, then we can weather the storm of the limiting beliefs, the loopholes, the back doors, and in shining a light on those things that stop us, it actually gives us space to transform them. So if we're not committed, the back doors, the loopholes, etc., will just wipe us out. If we are committed, then we can see those things and start to wrestle them and be with them and heal them. But you've got to have your feet planted. You've got to have the commitment to get through that and actually transform yourself in it. So here's an example of that. Well, let me back up. So before the example. So another piece of that is when I'm committed, that means I am willing to reinvent myself. I'm willing to get there however possible. So like if I'm committed to, okay, I'll just go to my example. So my example is this. So in May, I made a few commitments, and I'll come back to those for sure. And one of the commitments was working out 5 times a week for at least 30 minutes. So I made this commitment, and it might sound like, it could sound like a rigorous commitment to some people. And for me, it was actually no big deal. I already go to boot camp every weekday at 8 a.m. It's like clockwork for me. It doesn't actually take a lot of effort. I mean, it takes effort, but it's my routine. So I can kind of coast and still show up. So I made that commitment because I'm like, yeah, I already do that. I already go to boot camp. And then I rolled my ankle. And like really rolled my ankle. Like it looked like a watermelon was strapped to the bottom of my leg. It was awful, painful. And about a week later, every thing was still swollen and turned like blue and purple. And it was just like awful. So part of me is like, yeah, I can't really work out anymore. And to some of you, you might be like, yeah, that's totally a reason to not work out. But the thing is I made a commitment that I meant and that aligned with me and that matters to me. My health really matters to me. So I got to really sit with, how am I going to keep this commitment? And in that, I started a process of transforming who I am in this commitment. That applies to all areas of my life, but it showed up in lessons through my health. So I've gotten to, some of you might have seen my post on Facebook around, hey, I hurt my ankle, I'm committed to working out, what can I do? So I've got to reach out to support. I've got to reveal my commitment to other people. Through rolling my ankle, I've gotten to try other things. Part of why I go to boot camp is that in my history, I really sucked at working out on my own. Like, if I'm left to my own devices, I just don't do anything. Or if I try to work out at home, it ends up like just laying on the floor and playing with my dogs. Like it's wimpy. So I've got to like try new things. And I've tried things like I've worked out at home. I've done different like core routines, things that really honor my ankle and keep myself safe, but still honor my commitment in my body. I've also started going to yoga again, which has been on my, like, I hope I will do it someday list for a while. And now I've gone to yoga, I think 3 times this week, and I feel good. I feel strong. I'm grateful that I'm back in there. And I also feel confident that I'll keep going now. So my yoga practice is now being watered and growing. And I've also kicked up my eating commitments, what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, as another form of honoring my body. So I didn't say that I would eat or drink a certain way, but because I have this now attention to my health, I've chosen to not drink alcohol. I've chosen to cut out dairy and sugar, to fortify my health. And it feels good. It's aligned. And so had all of that, had my ankle not been rolled, I would still be in my steady commitment of going to boot camp because I love boot camp. But I wouldn't have had all this other growth. So I've used it to transform myself and open up other avenues and still keep my commitment by being creative and intentional. So that's one example. And with health, that's just one area it can show up. So when I work with people, when I coach people, what we do is, like, 1, get really clear on your commitments. 2, come up with ways to create that commitment, create that result. And then as as things get bumpy or surprises come up, roll an ankle, it's not the end of the world. And it doesn't mean you just suck it up and do it anyway, like white knuckle it. Because, there's a moment that might work, but that's not sustainable. So using this to transform everything. And I'll just say that's part of why I named my coaching company Life Alchemy, because alchemy is a seemingly magical process of transformation. And I think it can be absolutely magical how things unfold and what wants to grow if I'm willing to look at it that way. So another commitment that I made back in May is I made a commitment to make videos every week around coaching and serving people and what I'm up to. So you can count on me to post a video once a week from now to at least October. And I'll probably keep posting them on my Facebook page. I'll also post them on my Life Alchemy Facebook business page. So if you're not already following me there, follow me there. And if you're interested in coaching, message me, call me, whatever. We can have a great conversation about your commitments, what you're up to, where you want to have breakthroughs so that you plant your seeds in fertile soil. I think that's the good stuff anyway, and I don't want anyone to miss it. And this is funny, so I made some notes of yeah, this is really what I want to talk about. I haven't even used them, because that's also how I work. So I'm gonna leave it there, and I look forward to hearing from you. Continue to send me your questions. If you have any other questions about commitment, coaching, maybe something's really coming up for you in your life and you want some fresh eyes on how to reinvent it, let me know. And I'm gonna do a part 2 on commitment on Monday, and it'll make a little bit more sense why I'm doing it on Monday. But stay tuned, and looking forward to hearing from you. Have a great Saturday.